Hello, and welcome to the Off-Meta Umineko Read-Along podcast, the semi-weekly podcast where I guide my friends and first-time readers through my favorite story of all time, the highly acclaimed murder mystery visual novel Umineko When They Cry. We'll be discussing its narrative and themes, and the work together with our community to try and solve its various mysteries. Hope you'll all join us on this exciting journey as we delve into the Witch's Cat Box. I'm Kyle J, and joining me on our one-way trip to Rokkenjiima, we have our readers, James Capelli, Ben, and Becca. Welcome, y'all. So, how was your read this week?
I think this is one of the best readings in a while.
Wow, okay.
Character, develop, character, develop.
I would agree with that.
I thought it was just mid.
That kind of tracks.
Yeah, that's fair.
Ben doesn't know what love is.
When Ben put in the chat, this feels like a reading that Becca and Hayley would really like. I was like, derogatory, question mark?
I don't think that's derogatory as much as me knowing that I have a slightly different desire for what I want to see in a reading.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And reading an hour or two just about love and putting yourself back together is not what I want. I want the juicy story bits. So, and we still haven't gotten them, in my opinion. Like, it's good. I think it will make the later parts hit more.
Yeah.
But I'm in the minority here, and I'm totally okay with that because I want them to kind of convince me on why this was a good reading. So
I understand why you might think there was like too much of the lovey-dovey stuff, but I do think that a lot of the plot stuff we do get is so insanely juicy. Like, oh my god, so much.
I do think that there are very interesting points in this. Like, and don't get me wrong, it's still a good reading. It is just not up there and nearly like the top of what I would want in a reading.
No, I think that's fair. I mean, you've definitely shown you prefer some of the more technical, like red and blue kind of segments, and this is definitely the far end of that.
Yeah, for sure.
I do, or I want to see plot development. I don't necessarily always want to see character development. I feel like we've had a lot of character development. Now I want plot.
But the plot doesn't develop until we have developed characters. That's how this story functions.
We are how many hours into this visual novel, Capelli? We have developed characters. I don't know what else you want from me.
We're learning new things about them, Ben. We're learning more about Beato.
We could do that while they're all dying too. Becca.
Would you say these characters have grown stale?
I think some of the themes have, yeah. I wouldn't say that the characters themselves.
Characters, yeah. Okay. That's because they keep things fresh by showing us more and more each time.
Of the same theme, over and over. Again.
What theme?
A lot to do with marriage. A lot to do with love. It's the same thing that we've been dealing since episodes 2 and 3.
As Featherine says, love and marriage are very different things.
Ben, what do you expect? It's the only...
I don't know what you want from me. This is just how I feel.
It's the only element in the world.
We're gonna do it.
There's so many more elements.
We'll see if we can convince you that there's some intriguing stuff happening in some of the love scenes.
I didn't say that there wasn't. I'm just saying that they harp on the theme way too much.
That's okay. Yeah.
Some of us have love in our hearts, so
yeah.
Yes, me, the polyamorous gay man, does not have love in their heart.
Yeah, we know.
So this week we read about 3.5 hours at the end, ending on the line, "It was a flood of sound and light, and until it withdrew, Jessica could do nothing but moan. And everything goes white, and there's golden butterflies." I don't pick where it stops. That's just the line where it stops this time.
Yeah, I definitely didn't accurately guess what that was going to be.
Yeah, it's an odd one for sure. Videos 96 through 99 of the YouTube playlist. If you've not caught up to that point yet, go ahead and stop the podcast and catch up or rejoining us, or if you're just listening to us along for the ride, welcome aboard. Our story resumes in the Ushirmiya family mansion. After having washed ashore, Fruta Erika has been welcomed in as a guest of the family. However, after dinner, Erika's distasteful personality begins to reveal itself. After joking that her arrival as a detective at this isolated Western mansion would surely result in some kind of strange incident for her to investigate, she arrogantly claims that she is only able to play detective because modern-day fans of the mystery genre are too ignorant of classic tricks to realize the genre died half a century ago. George tries to break the tension by having Maria pose some puzzles from her quiz book. This only causes the hyper-competitive Erika to grow even more overbearing as she lords her intellect over everyone present. However, with the next question about the number of cuts with a knife needed to divide a piece of cheese into 8 slices, only she and Battler seem to come up with the true correct answer of 1. Instead of imagining a large wheel of cheese like the rest of the family, Badler, having spent the last 6 years away from the rich lifestyle of the Ushimiya family, had been thinking of individual cheese slices which could be folded to allow 8 pieces from a single cut. Erika's annoyed that someone else was able to find the same answer as her, and somehow manages to become even more insufferable. She was no longer a guest who would be staying until the storm passed. She had transformed into an annoying guest who wouldn't leave until the storm passed. George once again comes to the rescue, challenging Erika to a contest of picking up coins with chopsticks, which seems to channel Erika's competitiveness in a less insulting manner.
Okay, so I can't tell if Erika talking about fans of the mystery genre being ignorant is like Ryukishi being like, I'm just stumping you all with the oldest tricks in the book, like, figure it out. Or if it's self-aware enough to be kind of lambasting Erika, who is like so stuck in the past and thinks there's nothing new under the sun. Like, I can't tell. Or both.
I bet there's a little bit of both in there. I mean, you don't put this kind of thing into your story unless you think there's something to say about it. But I mean, giving that line to Erika, I think is definitely a sign that the author disagrees with it.
Fair. But also, okay, I'm curious about everyone else. Did anyone else come up with 3 for the cheese question?
Yeah. By default, I think the 3 is pretty straightforward.
I got both solutions.
Oh, I jumped straight to 1. When they all said 3, I was like, what do you mean 3? I jumped straight to 1 because I was just imagining a slice of cheese.
It should have failed successfully.
See, I'm sorry, I'm too rich. I was imagining my Parmesan wheel that I used to stir my risotto in.
My cake-shaped cheese.
That's what I mean. I was like, who thinks of a wheel of cheese? They were like a cylinder. I was like, what the fuck? I was imagining like a deli slice.
I'll be honest, I didn't come up with one immediately, but I did enjoy like the process, and this was a fun little bit, and just seeing everyone really start to hate on Erika made me a little bit happy.
Mm-hmm.
What I like is like the puzzle is written in a way where you have to figure out the intended shape that the riddle wants you to think. Like, oh, cheese. Oh, I get it. Like a wedge of cheese, where a slice of cheese is much more common.
Mm-hmm. I really like this segment as a kind of, it encapsulates a lot of Umineko. Like, this is actually like a really interesting example riddle, right? It's like, it seems like such a childish thing, but it's like, oh, this is exactly what Umineko does, right? A lot of the mysteries we've seen so far.
The devil's in the details. Yeah.
What were you assuming?
I literally messaged Kyle, like, this is helping me wrap my brain around this entire story better than anything else that's happened. And then the coins in the cup puzzle, too. I was like, I got that one immediately, too. Even though they don't stick around to explain that one.
Yeah, I think it's a nice segment. Another thing I think is interesting about this one is the way that, like, you can see Erika's desperation, right? It's not just that she's ordering her into, like when it comes to, like, the chopsticks stuff, there's, like, so many, like, little shots of her just almost crying in joy that she can prove that she has value. It's sad. Erika's a very sad character in this read.
Absolutely, and that's what makes it even better. Look, if I'm going to be the one with no heart and no love, I'm going to lean into it, so.
Yeah, it looks like Hayley's about to jump in.
Oh, Becca, I mean, while we're waiting, have you heard of or played any of Dispatch, the new video game?
No, I'm not familiar. What is it?
You know, like Telltale games like The Walking Dead or The Wolf Among Us?
Mm-hmm.
Ex-Telltale people teamed up with the Critical Role people to make a new Telltale-like game called Dispatch.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And the last 2 episodes just came out today, and they're very good. Well, I haven't played the last 2, but the first 6 episodes, very good.
Nice.
I think this would be up your alley.
People are saying good things about the ending.
Well, that's good, because I want a good ending.
Are you a superhero fiction kind of person, Ben?
No, but I think that this is done extremely well. I think it puts it in a nice place between, like, The Boys or Invincible to, like, Marvel, where it's somewhere in the middle of, like, yes, there is, like, it humanizes, or in this case just personifies the heroes as people with real personalities a little bit more, but doesn't go to the hyper-violence that the cartoons tend to, or The Boys does.
Right. Have you heard of a web serial called Worm, Parahumans Worm?
No.
It's like semi-famous as like a web serials go. It's kind of like a deconstruction, reconstruction of the superhero genre. It basically, this author released it, like, it was a weekly released web serial, and it's really, really long.
Gotcha.
And it's really well put together in terms of, like, creating a structure for how a superhero society, like, system could exist in a way that feels much more grounded. it's very kind of gritty and not grimdark, but like it's got like that same like hint of realism that makes everything seem a lot more like serious. It's really, really solid. If you have like a billion hours to spend reading something, I highly recommend it.
I don't have a billion hours more, Kyle. I'm in the process of buying a house, getting a new job, and then moving. That's not happening.
That's why it's my pitch for the next thing we do is that we're gonna all read Worm, and then we're gonna read Homestuck.
Becca, how much Homestuck have you already read?
Oh, I read all of it.
Okay, cool. I thought so.
I would go back and read Problem Sleuth again.
Problem Sleuth was great.
I think he purged it, which sucks.
Really? Fuck, man.
Here's the thing with Homestuck. I fell off around one of the giant pauses that happened kind of late in the series. Like around like 2013-ish, probably. I don't remember when those pauses were happening. But I was a Homestuck reader for like a couple years.
Mm-hmm. Same.
And then I fell off it. And then when it finally ended and people said things about the ending that turned out to be canon, I was like, I have to reinvest in Homestuck. I need to see how that ended up happening. Yeah, I haven't read any of the stuff that has dropped like since it officially ended, though. I know there was like an epilogue thing that happened. I haven't read that, but unfortunately, Homestuck contains a lot of bangers.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no other way to put it. Like when Homestuck was hitting, Homestuck was some of the best shit ever. That's just how it is.
Yeah, I agree with that. Homestuck was really pretty incredible for its time. And that's why we got like Undertale and Deltarune and all that jazz from it.
Yeah. I also just really like what they ended up doing with the animations. Like the more ambitious it got, I was always just so like into the fact that they were always going for it. And yeah, the music was so good. Like I would genuinely reread Homestuck now. I'm talking myself into it. I have no idea how it would go down now, but
yeah, I don't really know what the structure of a podcast about that would even look like.
I don't even want to think.
I don't think I'd wish that upon anyone. No.
And yet there would be someone that would listen.
I mean, it's classically one of the most recommended, like, by people in online spaces as like things people want other people to read.
Really?
Homestuck, Umineko, Worm, Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality. There's like a lot of the ones I've heard being like, oh, lots of people raving to try and get people to read them. Welcome, Hayley.
We haven't even gotten to the George parts yet.
Yeah, we were just talking about Erika in the dining room.
Do we want to say anything to introduce like why Hayley is now suddenly here?
I can always cut Hayley in. How was your read this week, Hayley?
Rapid. Yeah, rapid. It was frustrating and good all at once.
Okay.
And yeah, so let's see how this goes. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I think we'll have conflicting opinions, some of us. So
you've missed the conflicting opinions that I've already given. So
Pin's already on the ropes. We'll see how this goes.
But what else is new?
All right, let's go ahead and continue with this description. We then return to the mysterious individual trapped in the dark room. With a small sliver of light from the hall visible through the chain-locked door only serving as a lure, they close the door and turn to the rest of the guest room in search of other means of escaping. They find a small closet and a bathroom, but no other exits, except perhaps to smash themselves into tiny bits that could flow out the bathtub drain. Finally, they turn to the dark windows, pelted by wind and rain. However, they seem to have been completely clamped shut without the possibility of opening even a crack. Taking a chair, they attempt to break the windows, but despite their vicious assault, the seemingly delicate wooden mesh window frame appears unbreakable. Sticking their hand outside through the broken glass, though, in an attempt to open it from the outside, they suddenly find their hand trapped as the glass seems to regrow around it. The Witch of the Night then grabs their hand, wrenches back one of their fingers, and bites it clean off with a disgusting crunch.
I do find these sections to be a lot of fun. This is probably my favorite part of this reading is these little dark, esoteric,
Interesting.
like in the locked room sort of thing, because it really gets my brain going on what exactly could have happened in that room, this innocuous room that Ava and Hideyoshi died in episode 1. This room that, for no other reason seemed pretty like, oh, they died in a shed, why couldn't they die in a guest room? But now this room is like the center of attention, which I love them bringing that back. And now it's, who is this mysterious character? Is it a second battler like Hayley had predicted, and that there's actually a second one around here doing the actual killing? Who knows? But I'm curious to know what exactly is happening here, and I like the intrigue.
Oh, Ben, you ruined my lead-in, because I was going to say, and here's one of those differing opinions right here, because but you weren't in our 6.1, I don't think, and with this is 6.2, right?
I was not, no.
So 6.1, I said I hated these bits. I was just like, I do not care. But then you had to go and bring up two battlers. So you just like ruined my way of approaching that, and I know you're not sorry, and that's okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I think these bits are really interesting.
So I've changed my mind. I've enjoyed them in this read, but I did not enjoy it in 6.1.
That's fair. I do think that they got better in this read versus the first read, for sure.
Yeah, the purpose, what they're trying to accomplish, I think is a lot clearer in this read.
Yeah.
Before it was like, okay, what's happening? But now it's like, oh, okay, we're establishing rules. There's something going on here more than just someone in a room.
This feels like a blunt force trauma of the author of Rikishu 7 being like, okay, like, here's a character going through what you should have been figuring out by now, guys. Right?
I love that.
Well, I do have a half-baked theory about this. My half-baked theory is this whole episode started with that wedding between Erika and Catatonic Battler in the meta world, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am envisioning this as a manifestation of Battler being trapped inside his own mind, presumably by Erika, because she's the one threatening to like destroy his game. And she is forcing him to find a way out of the locked room, because if he manages, he has to do that in order to save himself. And if he manages to do that, he'll be proving that a locked room isn't really a locked room somehow, thus disproving witches.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense now that I say it all out loud. But that's what I was thinking about while I was reading it.
I think there's something there.
I think there's enough credence to that. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Back in the hall, Erika, Shannon, and the cousins are beginning to head back to the guest house when they seem to hear a noise coming from the unused guest rooms down the hall. Heading out into the entryway, Erika stops in front of Beatrice's portrait in order to prompt Shannon to tell the story of the witch. Jessica and Maria join in on explaining the witch's curse that caused a servant to be injured on these very stairs back when this portrait was first put up a couple years back. Battler, who hasn't been present for the last 6 years, is only seeing now what the supposed witch that haunted the halls and terrified him as a child supposedly looks like for the first time. Clearly a bit spooked, Battler tries to dismiss such claims as being classic ghost stories you'd expect from such a strange portrait being present. Erika, though, of course, takes it too far and insults the very idea of the witch Beatrice existing as being idiotic, much to Maria's annoyance and insistence of the danger of provoking such a being. However, even Erika notes that Nox's decalogue doesn't prevent the detective themselves from being killed. Maria once again offers her protective scorpion charms, and everyone heads to the guest house to continue discussing the nature of the island's histories of ghosts and spirits. Once everyone is left, a single gold butterfly appears and transforms into Chick Beatrice, who solemnly gazes upon what is supposed to be her own portrait. While nearly identical in every way, their gaze and expression clearly depicted a completely different person from the confused and timid Beatrice standing before it. Even though she had already finished reading the tales of the previous games, Chick Beatrice still can't understand what could have caused that Beatrice, who, just like herself, had been born for Battler's sake, to torment him so. Having been listening to the conversation Battler and the cousins have been having about the supposed supernatural weaknesses of the witch Beatrice, she wonders why she herself seems to have no such aversions. Touching the portrait, Chick Beatrice suddenly finds herself sucked into a portal into the past, to the time when the Beatrice born to be of service to Ashumia Battler had first been born into this world. However, appearing in this past time when even the portrait of Beatrice had yet to be hung in the entryway, Chick Beatrice finds that she was not the only being born from the egg from which she emerged. There too was another Beatrice, this one reminiscent of the form we saw Beatrice take in episode 2, that she innately understood to be yet another proto-form of the true witch Beatrice they would one day combine to form. This other Beatrice, we shall call Beatrice the Elder, on account of her seeming to have existed for some time before this point, seems to contain the arrogant witch aspects that Chick Beatrice lacks. However, she does seem to lack the purpose of living for Ashumia Battler's sake. While Beatrice the Elder says that she had been complete before Chick Beatrice appears, she too innately understands that they must become one to become whole. Here in the time of the past, Beatrice the Elder explains that she, as the master of Rokkenjiima's knight, wanders these halls, biding her time as she seeks to regain her lost power and achieve resurrection. Together the two of them turn into golden butterflies and flit the mansion's dark corridors together.
How did she turn into a golden butterfly when she's saying that she doesn't have magic?
Yeah, they kind of just gloss over that, yeah.
None of this is real.
I mean, that's also a fair take, is that, like, there seems to be some metaphorical, other magic-y stuff happening, right?
Yeah, and the time warp to the past, I didn't quite register that is what had happened. I was like, oh, cool, the painting's now a portal. Oh. So I'm glad that you can explain that as it was, a flashback, because that did not come across to me at all. For some reason, I thought that we had original Beato back, but no.
Yeah, it gets confusing because the Beatrices start intersecting with the Shannon story from the past here in a bit, and so it's kind of hard to explain how that exactly lines up.
Yeah.
So I had 2 thoughts on this.
One for each Beatrice.
The first thing I thought was as soon as she touched the portrait and it moved, I was like, is this where she came from at the end of episode 1? And Natsui died, and like that's where she popped up out of, like right after the stroke of midnight. She appeared from this wavy portrait. Like, that'd be interesting. And then the second thought that I had was that it's already confusing and going to likely continue to be confusing. That Chick Beato was in Featherine's library and then jumped back onto the game board, and Featherine read her doing that. So did Featherine and Angie read themselves talking to her? Because like in the story, she's like, ah, yes, I read this in Featherine's library. But if you're just reading the transcript of episode 6, that makes no sense. Unless Featherine's library is now on the game board as well, which I guess it probably means it has to be.
Yeah, there's definitely a degree of Featherine can affect things, which makes sense as like a metaphor for like if we're talking about like the author itself, kind of. I don't know. There's a complex metaphor happening between Featherine as like theater goer and author, and like there's just a lot going on. Yeah, it's confusing.
Yeah, not that I dislike it, but it's just
it's interesting to note because it's not as clear as it. Several times they've kind of implied that, oh, we're separate from that, but no, not really. There's crossing of the streams for sure.
Never cross the streams.
Yeah, definitely. I did like that we've got side-by-side duo Beato for obvious reasons.
Yes.
I'm hoping that this is telling us something.
Yeah. I mean, this is not the first time we've seen a second Beatrice, so.
No, but like they are talking to each other and, becoming one and all those kinds of fun things.
And this is also not the first time we've had 2 Beatrices talking to each other.
It happened in episode 4 near the end, whenever the other Beatrice came out and
replaced the current Beatrice. Yeah.
When Beatrice was trying to get Battler to remember the sin, got super disappointed, left, got the actual Peace Beatrice to come in, take the place, and then the real Beatrice just kind of left and was dejected, and then eventually got chained and was really sad.
But that was like a Peace Beatrice versus a Witch Beatrice.
Yeah, I think it's a fair interpretation that one was the real Beatrice, one was the Peace Beatrice.
And this is 2 real Beatrices.
Or this could be 2 Peace Beatrices.
Yeah. I don't know, man. This part is so weird.
We don't know.
It is, it's very weird.
What's real? What's a piece?
It is.
I don't love this part. I find it very boring.
No, she's soul searching.
If I had a nickel for every time Ben had said that, I would have a shit ton of nickel.
You'd have to go to the bank and get a roll.
Get to the interesting part then.
This is interesting.
I think this is interesting. Like,
and yet people didn't think the scary room with the unknown person was interesting.
I also thought that was interesting.
I never said that.
I'm talking more about Hayley.
Haley also said she liked that in this reading because it seems to now be going somewhere.
No, I know.
So it's almost like, and hear me out, it's almost like if you let these things build to their natural crescendo,
sure,
it's like, now I'm glad I had it the whole time.
Yeah, but I'm not glad I had it right now.
You will.
No, but that's not now. Future is not now. Future is not now.
So, I'm going to say something really mean. And it's just that it's funny that I have to say it. Ben, you know how they perform those aptitude tests for kids in grade school? And it's like kids who can delay gratification end up being more satisfied in life and tend to have higher intelligence scores. How did you do on those?
I don't know. I don't know if I ever took it.
That explains a bit.
I failed like the gifted kids program because I didn't take the test seriously because I wasn't being graded on it.
God, that's yeah. Yeah, I believe that. You qualified for gifted, but you didn't have the patience for how they were trying to teach you.
I didn't understand what it was for.
Yeah, that's fair.
So why would I take it? I was tired of tests, and it was like second grade.
I can't think of a more succinct description of the millennial experience.
I was so tired, and I was in second grade, Capelli.
I love it. I love it.
I think that just shows that you were gifted and talented to acknowledge that why am I doing this dumb shit with no reason, right?
Yeah.
And so you just like pieced out.
And you got punished for not going along with it.
No, I think you succeeded by not going along with it because there's so much perfectionism and
They thought they were punishing him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
then want to get in later, and it was like, no, you're too late. You've already taken the test. You can't get back. You can't do it. I'm like, I was very sad for a long time until I realized that I didn't want to be in there anyway.
No.
It's the same thing that happened with like the fraternity in my college. I wanted to be in until I was in, then I didn't want to be in there anymore.
And look at you now, hating on romance plots.
I'm very good at that.
Yeah, I think Ben might be a cat. Yeah.
I do have an actual criticism here, but thankfully it gets called out in the text. Why is Chick Beato so hell-bent on, like, I was created for Battler's sake?
I don't know.
Man, I wish I knew. I think that's the most toxic trait that she has.
But I love that Beato Unni, which is what I'm calling her. That's a Korean honorific for older sister, but I like the way it sounds.
Okay.
Beato Unni. I like that she's like, why the hell do you think you were created to, like, serve Battler? That's weird.
Yeah.
So that made me feel better.
I think there's a lot of good answers, like as potentials to that. The not least of which is just like, this is Battler's first attempt at it, and he kind of forgot to include free will.
I mean, maybe. Anything's possible.
That's such a dumbass move, and I could so see that.
Yeah, right?
Oh, oops, my bad.
Oh, also, I don't know if anyone else saw this in like the character selection screen, but the YouTube videos will show them whenever like new characters have them at the end of a chapter. And Beato the Elder said her character page says she existed even before the rules, which I took to mean the rules of the game.
And which game? Specifically, Battler's game?
Hard to say.
She just existed before the rules, whatever the rules are.
I can see that being very important. I can see it being literally never mentioned.
True.
It could be both.
Seemed significant.
No, it can't be both. What
It could be very important, but never mentioned again, which would be the very funny part.
Yeah.
I mean, that's actually very possible.
Yeah.
See? It could be both. I do want to say one more thing. When Becca piped up and said, I do have one criticism, I did think it was going to be a criticism about me. So.
Oh, Ben!
Oh, boy.
Anyway.
No, never.
No, your criticisms and the way you're experiencing the story is absolutely valid.
Well, hold on. Don't go that far.
Yeah, we haven't heard what he's got to say about George yet.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get to that. Back in the lobby of the guest house, Shannon tells everyone about an inexplicable event that happened one night that she attributes to Beatrice. We then see that night from the perspective of the two Beatrices. Beatrice the Elder explains to Chick Beatrice how the anti-magic toxin works that causes their forms to be erased when detected by non-believing humans. Even Beatrice the Elder is greatly impressed when she learns that their future self is able to appear freely in front of humans and use her magic on them. However, for now, all they can do is subtly imply their existence, performing what seem like simple pranks in the night. After many small things, like unlocking windows and leaving strange signs, as well as the occasional larger prank like arranging all the cookware in the kitchen in an eerie manner, Beatrice the Elder has slowly convinced the servants of her existence. And once everyone believes in her existence, they will finally be able to be revived properly as a witch for all to see. In the realm of spectating, Feathering and Angie comment on how the creation of a suitable environment and expectation are key to the formation of the existence of the Golden Witch Beatrice. That is one of the foundations of magic, decorating the process. With just a little magic, even a mass-produced stuffed animal can be reborn as a wonderful, unique stuffed animal filled with a mother's love. Angie speculates that what we are seeing in this scene shows that the ghost of Beatrice that haunts the halls of the mansion does not really exist. They are the manifestation of the environment in which ghost stories like that can thrive. However, It all changes in 1986, when some human uses that veil to commit a terrible crime. Feathering, however, disagrees. While the Beatrice of the time we are currently seeing may in fact be as Andy speculates, she doubts that remains true the entire time between then and now.
So I get kind of like mixed up in like what this game is trying to encourage its readers to think. Is this still going to boil down to a battler says that witches are real and then he loses? Because they basically say that he has accepted it in order for the situation to be as it is. He hasn't said it. And then so you've got Angie's being like, no, that's clearly like she would agree with Erika as far as the whole cup thing with Maria, right? Which I guess we're going to get to in a moment. But then you have like Battler clearly solved everything, which is how he ascended at the end of 5. And so like I'm having a hard time rooting for any particular character's motivations because it's not clear what anybody wants besides Battler. And I think that's been a gripe that I've had for a while. Like, I don't dislike that, this is the villain. And then, no, I'm going to make you empathize and care about them and now like them. And I, could see them doing that with Lambda Delta because of, like, a couple things that were said at the end of episode 5. But it's just, like, through the process of, like, okay, who's helping who? Who's trying to screw over who? Because you get them saying, this is what's going on to one person. And then a third party says, oh, they're actually really good, and this is why, you'll see. And it's just like, okay, so you bring that down to, like, I don't know. Like, I'm struggling to really care about any character's motivations. Like even in episode 4, when I'm like, Doll Beato is another ruse because it's just impossible to try to guess what's going on to the point where, like, earlier it was fun to guess. Now it's like they've done enough haha gotchas where it's just like, I've kind of stopped caring about trying to figure out what they're doing.
I'm having trouble following what you're saying, Capelli. Whose motivation are you confused by?
Basically any witch.
I think I know. Capelli's confused by his own motivation and has lost the will to continue reading.
Oh no, I've stopped thinking.
Yeah.
Yes, you have.
You just left the call. What? I know.
How dare you?
So, like, obviously we have Featherine, who is a spectator, but also is kind of representative of Hachijo, who is theoretically the author of a lot of what we've read, who seems to have, like, has an answer to a degree. They believe that they've solved things. That's why they're able to write these stories. And that's kind of represented by the witch Featherine, who is, like, watching these stories and has, like, an answer, and they're trying to get, like, kind of leading Angie to try and solve things as a way to, like, amuse themselves. As for Angie's motivations,
I mean, she wants Battler to break out, right? So, okay. Maria's motivations, have fun. But, like, I mean, like, in the grand scheme of, like, the main themes of the story, it's just, like, I'm having trouble understanding what the author is expecting of the reader.
Well, okay, I guess here's my question, Capelli. Do you think that there is a culprit and there's, like, definitive answers and stuff?
Yeah.
And do you think the story expects you to believe that?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I mean, a lot of this part is, like, saying that there are answers, right? Battler seems to have come to some kind of conclusion, and that has changed everything the way he feels about the story. And so a lot of what we're seeing here is both trying to figure out, like, what the specific answers of the actually what happened, and also the emotional answers, like, okay, why is this happening? And so a lot of this stuff is very couched in both of those two things.
I guess.
I literally think that the motivations for all of them, is the having people understand their truth as they see it.
It's just like when you step into it, like, from a, like, character per character perspective, like, yeah, I can accept that. But stepping back and looking at the story as a narrative, it does make me struggle to care about the scenes where people talk about what they want and what they are wanting other characters to do and all that. Like, not on the board, but, like, I don't know, in the grand scheme of the metaverse that they're doing.
Yeah, I kind of see what you're talking about. We are in probably some of the most nebulous position in terms of what the author is trying to say, right? Like, the author is definitely shifting what they're doing. We're attacking this from a completely different angle, and we're really exploring different aspects of the story in a way that's, like, we haven't quite gotten to the point where we understand what we're doing yet. I can see that.
Yeah, like, I understand the frustration, I think, but it also does really feel like it's finally starting to come to a point.
Yeah.
I feel like so much of the context we get, specifically in this reading, like, just stuff where Angie and Featherine are talking to each other that recontextualizes everything we've read so far and like confirms things that we theorized but couldn't ever be certain were absolutely true until now. We're getting confirmation. I think it's starting to lead us down a path of pulling things together.
Yeah. And it's not like I'm not enjoying the read or anything still, but it is like a little concern I have is that I do just start to like glaze over some reading as it progresses, and then I'm like, shit, I'm gonna miss out on some important nuance to what's being said here.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna feel dumb later.
As Erika said, I wouldn't want to yawn and miss some important foreshadowing.
Yeah, Ben. No, that's a small qualm I have. I have faith that it will continue to like turn into something interesting and entertaining, because the author has more than proven themselves to me in that regard.
That's fair. Back in the guest house lobby, Erika scoffs at Shannon's tale. Clearly, this supposed witch is nothing more than incompetence and exaggeration by the servants. This, of course, angers Maria, who claims to have met Beatrice in person and seen her magic. When Erika refuses to back down and begins interrogating Maria about the magic Beatrice performed, their conflict eventually escalates into a full-on magical duel in the meta world. Despite Delanor's insistence that this fight is not worth Erika's time, Erika insists that Delanor beat this child to death. Erika claims in blue that Maria might be telling a lie about something that never happened. However, Maria confirms in red that this story really happened. Erika continues with blue, that wouldn't have anything to do with the trick of the actual cup or table, making this just a sleight of hand, right? After all, hidden devices and the like are forbidden by Nox unless sufficient foreshadowing is presented. Maria states in red that they had no tricks like that in them. It was just an ordinary table and ordinary cup. Delanor tries to de-escalate, saying that Maria is allowed to present her own perspective by Nox's knife, but Erika is determined to tear apart this child's illusions. Erika declares that she will prove that it wasn't magic by replicating the feat as a human. When Erika has Maria walk her through the steps of the magic spell, she notes that Maria always closes her eyes during the time when the magic is supposed to happen to prevent her anti-magic toxin from destroying the miracle. When Maria opens her eyes and checks the inside of the cup, inside she does in fact find a single piece of candy. It would seem that Erika, too, could perform magic. So in other words, Erika smiled pleasantly, she and Maria had finally reached a deep understanding. You're a moron! While you had your eyes closed, I just lifted the cup and tossed a candy in. Call that magic? It's just a third-rate trick. Your so-called candy magic is nothing more than sleight of hand, a mere trick that a fake witch calling herself Beatrice, or whatever, claimed was magic. Everything you ever thought was magic was just a trick you didn't get. There's no such thing as magic. There's no way magic exists. Just then, Sakataro appears to defend Maria with a blue. Putting the candy in this cup might have been your sleight of hand, but that doesn't prove that Beato's magic was also sleight of hand. But as Erika responds to blue herself, however, you also can't prove that it could only have been done with magic, you rotten stuffed animal. Even Gertrude and Cornelia step in to point out how meaningless this battle is. With magic no longer being the only possibility, Maria could no longer definitively declare that what she saw was magic. But as Sakataro says, however, it might really have been magic when Maria saw it. Just because it can be done with sleight of hand does not disprove magic. Delanor manages to convince Erika that this fight is beneath her, and Erika apologizes for tearing apart a kid's dream. But of course, she can't resist dropping one more line. Simply by the existence of the overturned cup, this level of reasoning was possible for Furuto Erika. What do you think, everyone? Back on the game board, everyone is tired of Erika's shit and leaves her in the lobby to go play cards in the cousins' room. Only then does Kumasawa arrive, and Erika begins asking her about what she knows about the older ghost stories of Akujikajima and the Witch of the Forest.
They want us to hate Erika so bad.
I know. This is like peak Erika. I love Erika in this part of the reading. She has lost her fucking mind.
She's so crazy.
This is ragging on a 9-year-old.
The font, the crazy, like, slamming of the font when she's like, tear that child apart or whatever the fuck she says to Delanor is so crazy.
Oh, it's so good. Beat that child to death.
Yeah. That was a great delivery. I loved that.
I also just like Erika versus Maria is like Psycho Lolly, Unstoppable Force versus Immovable Object. They are crazy.
Yeah, I was a little worried it was going to be too one-sided until she went creepy Maria at the very last second. I'm like, all right, here we go.
When that happened, I was like, here we go. This is actually Erika's nemesis. This is the nemesis that Erika needs.
I was happy to see more Witch Maria, and I was definitely happy to see Sakatoro, mostly because it's just like, all right, the witches have their furniture, and they are present in these, I'm not even going to call it a metaverse battle, but the weird witch sidestep battle thing.
Vignettes.
Yeah, thank you. I like even how, what's her name? Oh, one of the two with Delanor.
Gertrude Cornelia.
Yeah, where she's just like, what did she say?
Let it be known this battle is pointless.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this was a childish thing, and she's like, "What did you say?" And Donna's like, "She didn't say anything. Let's go."
I did actually write this in my notes that Erika calls Gertrude and Cornelia scraps of paper. I was like, what's that about?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I picked up on that as well.
What's that about? Anyway.
I mean,
Well, we know that the Sisters of Purgatory
are stakes.
like in a world where it's totally fake. Well, it's like they're not just stakes; they're completely
paperweights.
Yeah, they're paperweights. So paperweights and paper now, actually.
I have a theory that I'm waiting to get to because it seeded in my mind towards the end of this reading. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Are Gertrude and Cornelia kind of like the 10 Commandments, but they're Knox's Decalogue? Like one sheet of paper each?
That'd be fun.
They have a distinct thing that they get to say in red. So like, there's definitely evidence for what they are.
Say less.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have we seen it yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. I just forget what the phrasing is off the top of my head, but
It's something near the end of episode 5, I think. Or no, they give reds in the battle in Kinso's study, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Right, yes. And I struggle with the red text battles, but I did enjoy this one between Maria and Erika because it was just kind of nuts. And I really liked Delano, Gertrude, and Cornelia in this, and I didn't particularly care for. I was neutral on them, but I just looked at I enjoyed how bored they were. I was like, yes, I feel you. That's me.
Later that evening, George meets up with Shannon under the Rose Garden Arbor. They discuss Erika and the difficulties of understanding yourself at that age. George admits that when he had been that age, his emotional cowardice and arrogance had caused him to basically become an incel. He shamefully admits that 6 years ago, he had looked down on Battler and Jessica for their vulgar mannerisms, assuming that, as a proper gentleman, all of the servants must like him the most. However, one day, when he saw Battler and Shannon having more fun together without him, that illusion was shattered. From that day on, George endeavored to grow and make sure that Shannon only had eyes for him. While his initial bitter emotions eventually blossomed into true love, George feels it necessary to make sure that Shannon understands the whole of his heart before he proposes to her. However, Shannon assures him that things of the past aren't important. What matters is how they feel about each other now. Together they decide to build a vast family and future together, and resolutely stand against any fate that may attempt to get in the way of that future. Just then, we cut to Purgatorio, where Erika is growing impatient for the murders to start. Battler pities her for her inability to see and appreciate love that isn't guaranteed to her by a witch's red truth. Erika wonders what this truth Battler could have uncovered is to have changed his emotions towards Beatrice and her game so much.
I too can relate to Erika and also want the murders to start. That's all.
I thought we were going to have a George off at this point, but maybe he's the worst. He's
fine.
Just reveals him to
He's
be
fine.
even more insufferable. It's okay. So there's merit in his growth. There's merit in his growth, but like, oh my god, dude.
Yeah, it's weird and creepy. But I mean, I guess that explains, like, to be fair, like, the entire time we've had to been like, well, we'll just not think about why George was perving on this 10-year-old as like a 15-year-old. There's just problems innately with that. So this explained at least to some degree that there was some reason why he did it that wasn't just being completely a pervert and creep. He was just an incel, you know?
I mean, he is, yes. And he worked on changing his life around.
Yeah, this, like, is the one scene that actually humanized George to me, being like, oh, okay. He was a stupid preteen boy, and he maintained that mentality because he had no reason to challenge it. No one pushed him. He didn't know how to push himself until he saw his cousins not living that lifestyle, and he's like, oh, maybe I'm the asshole.
And the other big thing about it for me is that he never acted really on any of that. Like, it was all his thoughts, right? Which we all, like, people have intrusive thoughts about things, and it doesn't make you a bad person. I think the fact that he does grow past it is like, okay, I actually have respect for him now, which is crazy, but true.
Yeah.
The actions that he has taken Like the physical action and the willingness to talk about what he was feeling is growth in and of itself that most boys could never even get to.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to cut in real quick. Preteen isn't accurate. He was 17 and Shannon was 10. We kind of have to just like maybe we don't think about that too closely.
Yeah. Oh,
but
God.
yeah,
I was about to bring it up. It's like we can be happy for his growth all we want, but there is an uncomfortable age gap at some point.
He still pursued her.
I think that's more the author's fault than anything, because I don't think that that's what they're going for in this.
Yeah, I as I said before, the math doesn't really math on that. I feel like I like to imagine the George Zone like maybe at most 4 to 5 years older than them. Like it needs to be closer, otherwise it gets too icky.
Yeah. I mean, so I hear you all, and I do agree. It is good growth, but I still do not like him. I would, if this was in real life, right, I would treat him with a neutrality now rather than an outright disdain, because I appreciate the growth and the work he's done, but there's just still the fact that he had those thoughts and has pursued a relationship with that's still the same person, still the object of his fantasies and fascinations and deification, as he calls it, just feels like I don't fully more time would have to pass to see his true dedication to Shannon for me to fully trust that he's actually let go of his old hatred of women for ignoring him.
I have a feeling we're going to see that soon.
We'll see.
Like for me, I also like that this was the first real conversation between these two that I was like, okay, I kind of buy the relationship now.
Mm-hmm.
Before, it just it felt like I love you because I said I love you. Shakespeare wrote plays that is the premise, right? And it's just like, okay, now there's some actual emotional depth. They're opening up to each other. They're being vulnerable. And I feel like I remember in episode 1, I hated Shannon because it was nothing but vulnerability. It was nothing but whining and oh yeah, but I love him. But I'm such a wretch. You could never me. Oh my. And now it's like, okay, no, now that
that's Kanon's line.
Both of them, really. And yeah, I don't really fully buy into Kanon's and Jessica's love, hardly at all. Oh, she shines like the sun. I'm like, that's not a rationale. That's not a thing. I mean, I get what
love doesn't need a reason, Capelli.
I get what he's saying with
teenagers.
You could also tie it into George's perception of her, of Jessica, and how she is a free spirit. She's happy to be herself and everything, and that's kind of what drew in Kanon. And then, okay, I get it. This is the guy who sheltered himself from himself, So to see somebody just being unabashedly themselves, I get it. But this scene between George and Shannon, it's like, okay, I get what they're seeing a bit more. I don't love that. It's like, okay, well, now that you've shown me that you have negative thoughts, I'm glad you showed me that before I said yes to agreeing to this proposal. It's like, yeesh. That's the sort of thing that should have probably happened when you were at the aquarium. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you even both want children? That feels like a question that should happen.
We should have 3
before a proposal.
Maybe even 4 if we have to get one of each gender. And it's just like, that's not. I mean, it is very teenager.
Yeah.
And early 20s.
That's really romantic to some people.
Sure.
That's what some people want.
And I'm not going to say that you're bad for wanting it, but I am going to say a lot of toxic and unhealthy relationships start with that as the foundation.
No, not communicating.
Yeah.
Your goals and ideals for the future. Yeah, that does sound about right.
Your true thought process and things that you've had to grow past to try to
who you are at the core, hiding that, yeah.
But then I think about what I was at that age, and it's just like, I don't want to think about that for too long, because then I start to maybe associate myself with George more than I'm comfortable with, and let's just say I'm happy I grew up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna butt in here and kind of echo that, because I'm willing to talk about it, because I was a stuck-up dipshit throughout most of middle school and early high school. Like, it hit me. Like, and I like this part, and like, as much shit as I've given like the character development, I do relate to George, and I still really like George as a character.
Yeah.
Ignoring the age thing, I want to say right now, I am seeing them not 7 years apart, because to me that doesn't make sense, and it doesn't actually fit the story well.
Yeah.
But like, the way that he has like figured out stuff about himself by seeing other people and how they relate to other people, and seeing the relationships that you can have when you realize that you have toxic traits and need to change them. That is something I went through in high school, and legitimately changed my freshman year, and got like basically a whole new friend group after that I still have to this day, because I made the right call in changing my own personality to fit me better, and to not just act on every bad autistic thought that I didn't know I had at the time. So it's like, I get it. I see George. I'm not saying everything he did is good, but I think it's a very real representation of a boy who has lived the life that he has.
I agree with you. I can't say I've had like the same experience, but I mean, this is why people go to therapy, you know, when they are self-aware enough to realize this kind of stuff. Like, that's the kind of stuff you work on in therapy. And, you know, George figured it out through the power of love, I guess. But yeah, like, that's why I tend to have some compassion for it. Because I'm like, to at least have that level of self-awareness and the vulnerability to admit it, barring the age gap thing, I respect it. So
yeah, and I'll say I agree with you both. I know I shit on him. He's my favorite person I love to hate, but I do see that, and I do think that it is something that, so the learning from how other people interact in relationships, I think is literally how we all learn. But some of us have that modeled to us better when we're younger, versus having to go through that and figure it out ourselves. And we know the Ushirimiya family, and what has been modeled to George is probably not the best. So I'm trying within myself to give him some grace based on that.
But that's the other thing. You don't have to like him either. Like,
no, yeah.
So true.
Shannon loving him is all he needs. You, as a third-party observer, you can remain neutral. Like, and that's okay.
And that's what I was saying. Like, I would now, like, knowing more about him, treat him with neutrality rather than disdain, because I do respect that he's been through some shit that I wasn't aware of before.
So I think you've raised an interesting point.
Well, thank you.
Like, the growth of George does not seem to have come from who raised him. And yet we look at, like, Evan and Yoshi, like, oh, some of the better parents? But, like, no, actually, it seems like all of George's worst traits were from the stuff that they gave him. And his best traits came from something completely outside of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they are kind of a little bit self-absorbed. I think that they almost deify each other, George and Eva. Like, they are kind of wrapped up in themselves. A little bit.
Yeah, like, so we look at Eva as someone who was, like, trying to craft this replacement head of the family, right? She was like, I can't do it. I will make George into this perfect little model replacement for the head of the family. And so you can kind of imagine how...
Perfect gentleman.
Yeah, the perfect gentleman. He must, like, all these things, this entitlement, this, this self-aggrandizement. You can see how that could have arisen from that.
Yeah.
Back in the game, Shannon returns to the servants' room to relieve Genji and Kanon. There, she and Kanon discuss their ongoing contest of love. While the sin of his cowardice may have forced him and Jessica's relationship to only just now be beginning, Kanon vows to fight with all of his heart. They each retrieve their half of the golden butterfly brooch that Beatrice had given Shannon long ago. The brooch, whose magic would allow only one of these two pieces of furniture to be able to find love with a human. The two Beatrices appear in the metal world, and Beatrice the Elder comments that this is the same brooch that she had given to Shannon in exchange for destroying the spiritual mirror that had been limiting her powers. Back in the guest house lobby, Kumasawa tells Erika about how purple lightning destroyed that shrine one night. However, Kumasawa has no answers as to why a Western witch like Beatrice would have all of the same weaknesses as the evil spirits of Rokkenjiima. Erika speculates that at some point, the ghost story of the Golden Witch Beatrice subsumed the ghost stories of the evil spirits and merged together. With all this talk about the supposed weaknesses of the witch Beatrice, the two Beatrices appear in the metaworld, having been listening in. Beatrice the Elder summons a spider and has Chick Beatrice touch the web. When she is surprisingly unharmed, Beatrice the Elder demonstrates that when she touches it, she is burned like the silk strand is a red-hot wire. The case is the same with the magic-repelling scorpions engraved on the doorknobs of Kenzo's study. Neither of them seem to understand why this is the case, nor why there is such a distinction between the two of them. It almost seems like Chick Beatrice is nothing more than a normal human. While she can perform no magic, she does seem to possess a physical body, whereas Beatrice the Elder is nothing more than a spirit, but can use magic. They each have something the other lacks, and would someday become a single complete whole.
I just love Kumasawa.
Yeah, one thing I do want to bring up about Kumasawa is with the Elder running around and basically making pranks, and then saying that Kumasawa is Virgilia who taught Beato how to be a witch, and Kumasawa is just a little prankster lady. I love the idea that there's a rationale where there is no witch and she just got her mischievous nature from Kumasawa on the island.
Yes.
I kind of love this. Yeah, love that.
She's so cheeky. I love her. Like, she was just like giggling through parts of this. Like, yes, Kumasawa, don't take life seriously. It's so good.
Erika was also getting her kind of tipsy too, so
Yeah.
I love the idea of Kumasawa done it, and it's just like it being just a bunch of pranks, just a bunch of tricks.
I do love that opening the windows every night is just kind of Beato's version of writing like Beato was here on like a bathroom stall.
Yes.
We return to the person trapped in the dark room. Returning to consciousness on the bed in the room, they find that while their finger shows clear signs of having been bitten, it at least is still attached. However, the window seems to have completely repaired itself. After confirming that there are still no other means of escape, they return to the door, hoping that their previous inability to call for help was a simple panic. However, when they once again go to call out, they find that no noise comes out. Even slamming the door fails to make a sound that would escape the confines of this room. Suddenly, though, when they go to shake the heavy chain sealing the door, they find that it is transformed back into a normal chain lock. Quickly undoing the chain, they finally fully open the door to the hall. However, as soon as they attempt to leave, they find that the chain lock has once again transformed, this time into a collar that prevents them from stepping more than a few feet out into the corridor. Next to the door outside, they find that a set of rules have been written onto what seems like blood on the wall. The chain lock must be set. You may unset it, but it must then be reset. Unless it is set, this exit of yours will be unusable. And indeed, that seems to be the case. Returning to the room and resetting the chain lock causes the collar to disappear. In order to escape, they would need to find some way of resetting the chain lock from the outside. But of course, the chain's design does not be long enough to be easily manipulated from the outside of the room. The person then returns to the closet, in search of a wire coat hanger they can use to fashion some sort of tool. While they don't recall there being one there previously, they somehow suddenly find one now. Using their makeshift burglar tool, it would be possible with some trial and error to set the chain lock from outside. However, as soon as they determine this, new red words appear on the door itself. No matter the method, it is impossible to set or unset the chain lock from the outside. With a terrible laugh, the witch renders their tool completely unusable. All the trapped person could do now is beg for someone to come and save them.
Okay, I just need to... There was a point in this where when they're trying to get the lock back on, they're like, why is it so hard to do from the outside? And in my notes, I just said, well, then it wouldn't be a very good lock, would it?
Yeah.
And then the text said that, thankfully, but oh my god. And then this is also where I had the note, is this Erika's fucked up way to make Battler fight for his life to escape a locked room, in the process disproving witches so that she wins? Question mark. But also, it is your repeated use of the phrasing, the person, does make me realize we don't have any kind of confirmation that this actually is Battler.
No, we have no idea who this is.
Yeah, the text does not specify.
Yeah, I don't know.
My theory is that this is somebody trapped in their own mind.
Right.
Right? Like, you could even say, if it's Battler, what if this is a multiple personality disorder thing? And I really hope it isn't that. And I don't think that they will go that cliche. But, like, the big sign for me is that they step outside the room and there's red text on the wall, on the door. And to me, like, we haven't seen anything like that. So it is a manifestation, a representation of them being trapped by the red text.
Yeah.
And it's a puzzle of how do you work your way out of it. So it's like, it's clearly somebody working through a problem. And so I think it's most likely going to be Battler and like kind of representing how he escaped his own head and how he proceeded with his thinking to like wake back up at the end of episode 5.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that it was Battler trapped in his own head in this presumable wedding to Erika that is the larger frame of whatever is going on right now. But actually, just listening to you talk about working through it, like, working through a red text web now makes me think it's Beato.
No, I agree with you, Becca. So I am legitimately running out of ideas on what could possibly be the solution to this, because I do feel like every time I think of something that it could possibly be, they shut it down before that could be it. They're doing a really good job writing it, because what I really hope for out of this is that my mind is blown when they reveal the real trick. Like, I love murder mysteries for the reveal. Like, that feeling of the payoff when a murder mystery comes out is the reason I read them.
Yes.
Like, it's the same thing for, I bet, like, horror aficionados when they get scared or, like, there's some sort of terror in the rush they feel. That's how I feel about pieces clicking into place in a puzzle. And I'm hoping, beyond hope, that this is how this goes.
I would also love to have my mind blown.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that we're going to get the murder mystery reveal.
I'm not convinced of it either, but I want it.
Yeah. Well, my hopes and dreams are there with you, Ben.
I think we'll get a, like, this is what it could be. Like, we're not going to be told, like, this is it. It's going to be, if you want to believe it, this is how it happened. And if you want to believe it like this is how it didn't happen. Ooh.
Did you get the ending of Clue?
Kinda.
Fantastic movie.
Such a good movie. That is, someone asked me what my favorite 3 movies were recently. I said Clue, Knives Out, and Knives Out Glass Onion. If that tells you anything about my choice of movies.
Oh boy. The Knives Out 3 comes out this month, I think, in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
I'm so excited!
Ooh, didn't know that.
I'm just so excited.
Yeah, it does. There's been, like, almost nothing. I feel like I've almost said nothing about it, and then I happened to see it in, like, a newsletter or maybe a poster or something, like, last week, and was like, wait, like, now?
Yeah.
They're always the Thanksgiving release. That's kind of their
Oh, okay.
thing.
This one's slightly later. I think this one's in, like, second week of December. But I think murder mysteries are better when they show less, at least in previews.
Well, we'll see how satisfied you are with what the story gives you.
Yes.
Show less, smile more.
Don't show them what your mystery is about or what it's for.
Thank you. I appreciate that somebody got that.
Well, is it a song lyric, I assume?
It's a Hamilton.
Okay.
I got it as well.
Anytime someone says the word "say less," my brain goes "smile more" in my head.
Back in the cousins' room, Kanon has joined them to play cards. However, Kanon, unused to playing games such as this, is taking the game very seriously and having a hard time handling the ups and downs of winning and losing. Jessica, George, and Battler console him and help him to understand the value in trying your best, even if you still lose. Kanon, having only seen himself as furniture until now, had shied away from experiences such as these. But now that he had decided to try, he could learn and grow rather than stagnate in despair. Out in the hall, he and Jessica talk about how she will help him find new things and to become better at them. However, while Kanon understands his love for Jessica, he can't fathom why she would have feelings for him. When he puts aside his pride and asks, Jessica is at a loss for words of how to explain her feelings. Seeing this, Kanon realizes that he is burdening her with his own insecurities, and he will instead strive to become the kind of person she wouldn't be able to keep her eyes off of. Unfortunately, though, they would not have much time for that. No matter how much Jessica protests that Kanon is human and is capable of love, the miracle of magic would still be required for furniture like him to become human and achieve it. From the world of spectating, even Angie chimes in her confusion about why magic is required. While she can understand that the good fortune required for a relationship between a servant and a member of the Shirmia family to bloom could be called the miracle of magic, why would Shannon believe that she once again needs such a miracle in order to marry George, who has already made it clear that nothing will stop their union? Neither couple requires approval of anyone else to validate their mutual love. So why is a miracle still necessary? And what is this magical butterfly brooch that can seemingly only grant one such miracle to one of the two couples?
I love Angie as the audience mouthpiece here. Like, thank God somebody said it. Why are they so obsessed with this brooch being necessary? Because I feel like that's something we've been talking about this entire time, right? Like, what is the difference between furniture and human? And what do they mean that they're furniture so they can't be loved by humans? Like, thank you, Angie.
Yeah. Have any of you figured it out? This is where my theory starts. This is where it started to be formed this evening.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh, say more.
Okay. So
Smile less.
smile less. Impossible.
Very good. Very good, Kyle.
Thank you.
So I kept thinking, Kanon's a mercenary. Shannon's a mercenary. These people are disposable. They know that this is going to all go down. And this butterfly brooch is a token, of immunity so that they will survive.
Okay.
Love it.
And then the remainder of this read kind of firmed that up a little bit. So I'll go into what I think magic is in this world after we've summarized the rest of the next. But yes, this is where it started to take hold.
I love that you say that, because by the end of this reading, my out of left field theory that is probably has 5 million holes in it is that somehow Kanon and Shannon are the culprits.
Yes.
I mean, so I said this in the Solve episode,
we
and
did.
you all chastised me for it.
No, I didn't. I said I think it's some combination of a group of people, and they're the furniture. Furniture is a mercenary, is somebody that's just hired to do a job.
No, I'm the one that chastised you. I'm the one that does not believe that in any world those two are the culprits, and I am sticking to that.
Okay.
We are basically given some explicit rules at the end of episode 4, not the least of which is people who claim to have seen magic, their perspective, their testimony can't be trusted.
That's fair.
Doesn't mean that they're evil, but you could say this has something to do with them being furniture, that they would be forced to go along with it. And them trying to step out and find love to escape being furniture is I'm a bad guy. I don't want to be. You could pull me out of it because of the connection we share or could share more. And I think it'd be a cool rationale, but I gotta think they kept their mouths fucking shut at the end of episode 5 when Natsui is getting verbally and physically lambasted. They know that she's innocent. They know that Kinzo's dead, and the servants don't say a word. And I thought that was so out of place, out of character, to let someone suffer like that. If it was Genji, he would, if he gave his word, if he had to do whatever, he would stay silent as the dead. But Shannon and Kanon have been shown to present more of a moral compass. So why? There's something to it.
Why indeed? Why indeed?
There's something there.
I really just love the way you put it, though, Hayley, with the butterfly being an immunity token. It's so espionage.
It's their immunity idol.
Yeah, but it feels like spy work, which is exciting to think about.
Yeah, it felt like an 80s spy movie, and it's set in the 80s, and I was like, okay, this Kanon's a mercenary.
Yeah, I think just because of how fanatical they are about it, something about it is just starting to put me off. Did these two just snap? Did something? I don't even know. It was all entirely vibes based. So yeah.
Everything that I get from them is that the reason that they believe in magic is the fact that they're finding love, which is something that I don't think they had ever felt before. And they're clinging on to hope of that actually happening. So that's what's causing their belief in Beatrice, because they just believe that this could only be the work of some otherworldly force and not the circumstances that they are currently in being anything other than that.
Well, I think that kind of ties into this next part of reading, so let me just finish this off real quick. In the Golden Land, the two Beatrices discuss the nature of the magic they had granted. Much like a charm, the magic brooch grants one who believes in its power the ability to believe that they might succeed. One could call the infinitely large difference between the 0% chance when giving up to even a minuscule possibility of success from keeping hope a miracle. The power of belief becomes magic, and those who make others believe are witches. Coming to some realization about the nature of magic, Chick Beatrice then performs the candy summoning spell that Maria and Erika had fought over to create a single golden rose petal in an overturned cup. Asking her sister if this counts as magic, Beatrice the Elder cackles and confirms in gold. You used magic to create a golden flower petal inside an overturned cup. It was a splendid bit of magic. Angie and Featherine appear once again and discuss what they have seen. While Angie understands this magic and how without love it cannot be seen, she still doesn't understand the other kinds of magic we have been shown up to this point, or how the golden butterfly brooch is still needed. All Featherine says for now is that love and marriage are very different things. The magic that Shannon and Kanon seem to be seeking is not merely belief or sleight of hand, but something much more substantial. Back on the game board, Kanon has just finished explaining to Jessica the nature of the golden butterfly brooch and Shannon's deal with the witch Beatrice. Jessica's incredibly confused by Kanon's seemingly earnest claims of the existence of magic required to allow humans and furniture to find love together. It was the only crystallization of magic the Golden Witch Beatrice had ever left in this world. Just one such brooch, and just one such miracle. Holding his half of the brooch aloft, it begins to fill the hall with a blinding light. It was a flood of sound and light, and until it withdrew, Jessica could do nothing but moan. And that is the end of this week's reading.
Golden text.
Yeah, the return of the gold.
Yeah, that was exciting.
I pumped my fist.
What the fuck is it?
It means nothing.
No.
It is
not.
useless.
No.
We haven't had it defined, right? We had reds and blues defined.
Yeah, I know.
We're trying to figure it out.
Golden text means nothing to me right now until it is defined.
Everybody freaked out at the end of episode 5 when Battler used it, and they accepted it. So...
Yeah, I've changed my mind, Capelli. Sue me.
Well, and that's the thing. We need to figure it out. What does this statement have in common with what Battler said at the end of episode 5 that correlates to them being gold text?
I guarantee that this corpse is Ashumiya Kinzo's corpse.
Yeah.
Oh my god, but then if, like, that just... I don't trust anything I read in this anymore, having realised all of the wordplay that's going on in there. Which is Ashumiya Kinzo?
Are there multiple?
Just assuming that... Maybe. We don't know. For sure. We really just don't. Oh.
I mean, what this shows us is that the golden text is not a unique ability to Battler. So, which means that the other witches would know what it means, what it can do, and what its limitations are. So...
Well, and it can only be used by the game master, right?
Apparently not.
Oh, did we have that defined?
I'm asking. I can't remember if that was something that was stipulated.
Lambda Delta said something along those lines. I don't know the
Yeah.
specifics of what she said.
Okay.
Well,
It said it was proof
But-
that he'd reached the heart of, like, the truth of this world.
Elder Beato did exist before the rules, so...
Yes.
Oh.
And also, it being a gold truth, you have to imagine it is, by virtue of it being a gold truth, it has to be associated with the Golden Witch.
I will say, if you're expecting the story to outright tell you what the gold truth is, I would put that expectation away. They will never tell you exactly what it is.
Yay.
Shocking.
We have to figure it out.
Shocking.
Well, it sounds like nobody knows, but there's a lot of fan theories.
There's an answer. There is an answer. It's just the story is
All right.
not going to outright tell you.
All right, and then I'm happy to dig into it when we get a bit more. Ben probably won't. It sounds like.
Give me a reason to.
I mean, fair. Like as it stands right now, these statements don't. These are not load-bearing gold statements.
No, they're not.
Well, no. At the end of episode 5, that is a pretty important gold statement.
At the moment, the first one is, to me, right now, as good as the red truth.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Right.
But the second one doesn't even get to red truth level.
The second one is just a hint for what the gold truths are. That's all it is.
Yeah, and you can't actually create a pattern without 3 data points. So we need a third one.
Mm-hmm.
My initial guess right now is the gold truths are true across all games, and they just didn't do that earlier. Unless said otherwise, most red truths are specific to the game that they're referring to.
But then that means that this statement confirms that magic is real, which is breaking the whole point of the game.
I don't know what the definition of magic is here, and that's the problem.
Exactly. Exactly.
All
It's
right,
all
all right.
just word games. So, excellent segue, guys, because I think that magic...
Buckle up. It's Hayley O'Clock.
No, this was actually pretty tame. Sorry.
Damn it, I gotta go.
This was pretty tame. I think that magic is essentially a contract.
Okay.
Because they talk about how it's a belief in, like, witches are the people that, you know, make you believe in a thing. Like, it's a belief that you tie to something. The whole difference between love and marriage is kind of a contract in itself.
Sure.
And contracts they're not always physical. They can take different forms, right? You can have verbal contracts. Maybe battlers, like unintentional acknowledgement of witches is himself entering into a contract because he has become aware that the contract exists. I think you need to know that the contract exists. So like with Shannon And the brooch, she was told that this means this, so she is in this contract for this thing, right? If we think of that as somebody, whoever the culprit is, has hired a bunch of people that they refer to as furniture because they're just the tools to execute this whole vision that they have to take down the Ushurimiya family, they will have some kind of contractual obligations to each other. We've seen that Nanjo's, we saw the letters that were sent with the safe deposit keys to the descendants of the older people, which could well be have written into these contracts that, and I think magic could just represent where there is an agreement of some kind between two, I'm not even going to say people, two things, whether it's an institution or whatever. That's kind of where I landed on by the end of this read, was that we've got some kind of,
Interesting. Okay.
The definition of magic is something that is founded in an actual real thing that we know and experience daily. Yeah. So it wasn't that crazy of a theory. It's with the brooch thing and them having to only one of them has that get out clause kind of thing. It just made me think, what situations would we actually see that happen in the real world? Contracts.
Yeah, hearing you say it all like that just makes me think, yes, it's so obvious.
It's not going to be true, Becca.
No, I know. And whether or not it's maybe not literally contracts, but clearly, yes, whatever the definition of magic here is the key, a huge key to whatever's going on. And I feel like even if it's not literally contracts, that is you're right, the basis of everything in terms of belief, etc., which is what magic lives off of. So, oof.
I mean, even if you don't call it contracts, it's just agreements between two things, right? I think that the magic is the guarantee that something is going to happen based on this agreement that you have.
Okay.
Because you have an agreement in place.
It's like the expectation of something is what makes it happen. It's manifesting. Witches are just self-help gurus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they have you write contracts with yourself, in the way that they did with Kanon to realize who he is, kind of thing. There's many ways that I think those agreements could be executed on, which could appear magical.
Interesting theory. We will see how that plays out as we continue to the story then. Anything else before we wrap up?
I loved this reading. My last major note is the part where Angie is getting annoyed with Featherine because she's like, you want me to read you a detective story that you already know just so you can laugh at me blundering around? And Featherine makes some kind of comment about her not being amused, and Angie does that little fake laugh. I thought that was just adorable. I love all of that so much. I love that they're having their own little mystery science theater thing going on.
Yeah, their interactions are all very good.
Yeah. Great stuff. Good reading. I love how emo Kanon is. I can just tell stuff is about to get significantly wilder, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I too am very excited for the next reading. It's got some of my favorite parts in it.
Kyle, do people die?
Maybe.
I love that you said that as if it was please don't let them, but it's really please let people die. I'm sick of people not dying.
I just need the game to start. I've seen so many death already. Capelli, what's one more?
Ben needs his clue.
Heard, Chef? What's one more?
What's 6 more?
What's a single Twilight?
All right. Well, next week we'll be reading about 3 hours of the VN, ending on the line, the ones they loved had already showed their determination. They had to carry on. After which there's the Shattering of Glass, which is videos 100 through 102 of the YouTube playlist. And we'll finally be 100 videos in to Umineko.
Wow.
Whoa. This has been such a journey, man.
Out of how many?
I want to say it's just 140.
I think it's close to 2. I thought it was close to 200, but a bunch of them are really short towards the end.
Oh, yeah, there are. That's right.
I'm
There are a
wrong.
bunch of really short ones.
Yeah.
Man, I hope the game starts soon.
Oh my god.
What a throwback.
There are 158 videos in the playlist.
Okay.
I don't know if
Okay,
that's all of
158.
them, but I assume so.
Yes, that's all the ones that barring stuff that got released as addendums, yeah. Which there are some, which we might cover. We'll see. But yeah, I'm really excited with this next bit. Episode 6 has some of my favorite bits. We get completely unhinged Erika. This reading had a lot of good stuff as well. So I'm really excited for y'all to continue.
Erika's not unhinged yet.
No, that's what I'm saying. In this reading, we got unhinged. We got the start of unhinged Erika.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, that's the ramp up. Damn.
Yeah. So thank you all for joining us. Hope y'all enjoyed our musings. And remember to think off meta.